So I was a big bitch once. I've been small, I've been big, I've been medium sized, I've been every single size that you could think about.
Bitch, your gang, pop your shit, face on pretty, that's they thick, beef with who she got the right one. All these bad bitch, they got the leg none. Pretty on thick, I got the type one. Make one, take it, I got the right one. These fat bitch, you like is my son.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Ania's World, and I'm back again with another YouTube video. With that being said, you guys always know my biggest thing to tell you guys is that it is free to subscribe. And with that being said, let's get into the motherfucking video. I was a big bitch once. I've been small, I've been big, I've been medium sized, I've been every single size that you could think about. I also want to say that this video isn't going to be me trying to give you fitness tips because I am not certified, a nutrition, I'm not nothing. I'm just a bitch who used to be big that wants to give my girls some motherfucking advice in my journey of losing weight. So I posted a video on TikTok. It always starts on motherfucking TikTok. That's why they try to ban that shit, because everything always starts on TikTok. I went on TikTok and I posted a video of my body, and I was like, do you guys want to hear fitness content or just hear my journey of losing weight? So my journey did not start when I was 20, when I first got in the gym. I don't want to make it seem like, oh my God, I just found this profound love. I've always had a love for working out and diet, just in an unhealthy way, like a lot of us do. I struggle with the eating. When I get stressed out, I overeat. I overeat when I'm stressed, when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm everything. And it started off when I was young. I always see my mom and my aunties. I'm always blaming them girls for everything. They're probably gonna be like, bitch, get off of our fucking bag. Get off of my bag. But no, for real. I grew up with 14 aunties. And then I also grew up with my mom's best friends who all had children, who were mostly girls. So I'm not gonna act like, oh, no, I grew up with a lot of women in my life. So when you hear me say, oh, the women in my life, it's not me trying to diss them. It's just because I've only grew up around women. I didn't really grow up around a lot of men, unless it was my mom's boyfriends or their boyfriends. But I remember watching my mom and her friends, because they were the bigger girls. One time, they would go to the gym, get their hair done, get their little outfits on, go to the gym, walk on the treadmill, and leave the fuck out of it. So I was always introduced to these diets. Like, I see my mom doing diets, my aunts doing diets, the people around me doing diets. And I've always assumed that I was a big girl, even when I was not. I've always had body dysmorphia. And because I always wanted to be so small and be so skinny, I was so infatuated with being pretty, being skinny, being all of these things, because I thought that was what I needed to be. Because being fat was disgusting. I hated that I was fat. All of my friends were skinny. Why the fuck was I fat? Like, clock that T. So remember, the first thing that I implemented in my diet when I was literally 11 years old is I stopped eating candy. Even though when you're a kid, you're supposed to eat candy, I convinced myself, this is how you know I have OCD, okay? I know I have OCD. I have very thoughts where it's very chaotic. But I knew that if I kept on eating candy, I was going to get sick and I was going to die, and I was gonna get fat. So I thought the cause of all my issues was because I was eating candy. The cause of all my cousins' issues, why they were big, was because they were eating candy. So I convinced myself at 11 years old that I was going to tell my entire family that I hated sweets, okay? I hated sweets. I hated doing anything that had to do with candy. But then I would casually catch myself eating candy, okay? So I would tell people I hate candy and then be like, well, I sometimes like candy. You know what I mean? So I started restricting myself in that way. And then I started restricting myself of not eating a lot. So when I would eat smaller portions. And I brought in my other family members who were also women who had body dysmorphia and had the same infatuation as me of losing weight, but never knew where to start, never knew what to do, but had an infatuation of being skinny and tried all of these diet books. Like, I had so many diet books, tried all of these diets. It was like, oh yeah, Zania, this is how you do it. So I went from restricting myself from candy, restricting myself from eating a lot of food, and then, oh my gosh, I feel like back-to-back videos have been about family and childhood and all of these things, but I genuinely think genuinely feel like everything leads back to childhood. So, right? And then at the time, my sister, my older sister, she's a lot skinnier than me. And when I was younger, I would get compared to my sister a lot. She was skinnier, all those kind of things. And to get underneath my skin, my father used to tell me that I needed to be like my sister, but I was big like my mom. He ate that. He clocked my tea. And he would always be like, you need to run, you need to get up, you need to do something. So then I became infatuated with these workouts, but I was never having fun. I became infatuated with the Chloe Teen workouts, with going on walks and trying to run, but the weight was never coming off because I was not fully committed. I wasn't committed. And because I've always seen the people around me give up on their diets, give up on all of these things, so I did it too, okay? And I feel like this makes a point of all of my videos is that you are a product of your environment. If you always see people give up and not follow through with what they need to do, that's what you're gonna do. So that's what I always seen. So on one hand, I was being called fat by the men, and on the other hand, I was being told, yeah, Zania, go on that diet, lose that weight, do all these things. So I combined them together and I said, bitch, I'm not losing weight. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. Because then, once I started restricting all of my calories, I started creating myself an ED, where it's like, one day I would be on this calorie deficit and not eating any food, and then the next day I was eating thousands of calories. I was eating the candy, I was eating the chicken, I was eating everything. At once upon a time, I was known as Zania was always gonna go back for seconds. Zania knows how to eat. Zania is not picky with her food, she eats everything. And once I started to realize that that wasn't a compliment, that was actually a telltale sign and a show that I had no self-discipline, that I did not know how to eat, that I did not know how to work out or be disciplined, because that's like really the biggest thing that I'm trying to get to is self-discipline and restricting yourself, right? So I go on and on about all of the diets I ever tried. I tried the military diet. I tried the motherfucking, what is it called? The green smoothie diet. I tried being vegan. I was literally vegan for 2 days. I made this nasty ass tofu. This tofu was so fucking nasty. I even put it in the air fryer. The shit was still bogus as fuck. So then I just been through every single trial and run when it came to losing weight, okay? And then when I was around the age of 20, I feel like I tell this story like sometimes to you guys. When I was the age of 19, I remember going to the doctors with my mom, and I was working out again with the Chloe Teens workout for 2 weeks straight. And I'm like, I'm losing weight. Mind you, I wasn't even eating good. I'm like, I'm losing weight. Let me go weigh myself on the scale. When I tell you guys, I went to go sit down on that scale. I gained 22 pounds. I'm 5'4", 222 pounds. And if you don't see, I have 222 tatted on me, okay? Everything comes in twos. Twos to me is a Libra. A Libra means balance. Every time I seen 222 in my life is when I needed to change my lifestyle, when I needed to change the things in my life. So when I seen that, I stepped off the scale and I left the hospital and I went to McDonald's and I ate a fucking 10-piece chicken nugget, because you're not gonna tell me that I'm a big bitch in my own body. And after that, it progressively got worse. My eating habits got worse and worse and worse. And I would work out for a week and then I would be binge eating at the end. I would try to do a calorie. Nothing was working for me until I got out of a bad relationship, okay? And I always say that. Got out of a bad relationship, I weighed myself again, 220 pounds, and my body was not letting the fuck up. 6 months later, I was about to turn 20. I was 19 at the time. I was about to turn 20, and I told myself, like, I was gonna start loving myself. I was gonna start loving the body that I was in. So that July, I started telling myself I was beautiful, even if I was bigger. I was 222 pounds. Even if I was bigger, I kept telling myself I was beautiful, I was pretty, I was all of these things. And I felt like I was beautiful. I felt like I was pretty. But I knew that I wanted change. And I knew that it wasn't healthy to be the weight that I was, at the height that I was, and the way that I was eating was destroying my body more than it was helping it, because it was making my skin bad. It was making my bloating even worse. I had a beer belly, you guys. I just did not like the way that I looked, okay? Started to love myself, but then I was still working on self-discipline and what I need to do. So before the new year, I told myself that I was going to work out and lose weight. This was the last year that I was going to ever be this weight again. Before 2023, I went and I weighed myself again, and I seen 222 pounds. So at this point, I was staying consistent in the 222 pound range. And I wanted to get out so fucking bad that it wasn't even funny. So I started to love myself. That was the first step. If I was not going to love myself in that body, I do not think I would have ever had the courage to go to the gym and be able to lose weight. So I told myself I was going to love myself in my own body at 222 pounds. And because I love myself so much, I was going to now lose the weight, okay? So I started to go to the gym all the time. And how I started, tip number one, was that I got on the treadmill for 30 minutes and I went on the Stairmaster for 5 minutes. A lot of the reasons why you're not able to stay consistent in your workout is because you're doing things that you're seeing on TikTok and YouTube and all of these platforms. What is meant for you is going to be meant for you. What is not meant for you is not going to be for you. So every time you go onto YouTube and TikTok and you look at all these workouts and you're like, I could do that. Stop trying to motherfucking get in the gym on your first day, become a bodybuilder. You're not fucking like, you're not going to get it. You're not going to do it. You're gonna give up. Stop trying to think that, oh, I seen it this way. Start off slow. Steady wins the race. So I went to the gym for 2 weeks straight. I got on the treadmill for 30 minutes. I people watched. I watched people, and it helped me get over the anxiety of thinking people are watching me in the gym. No, because now I'm watching you. I'm watching you, bitch. So I got on the treadmill for 30 minutes, and then I got on the Stairmaster for 5. After I felt like I was doing too good, I then implemented now, okay, I'm gonna go get on the Stairmaster for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna get on the treadmill for 15 as well. So now it's 30 minutes. And once I felt like that was too easy, I got on the treadmill for 10 minutes, and then I got on the Stairmaster for 30. And once I got to be able to do 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, I knew that I was gonna be able to now start going to the equipment. So once I started to go into the equipment, I knew what I liked and I knew what I didn't like. I did not like exercises that made me feel drained and that was like, it hurt so bad, you know what I mean? So I started off as a beginner and I started off easy. And I tried that for a good 2-3 months and I loved it. If you keep on trying to do something and doing it every single day, it's kind of like, oh, this is easy. So then once those 2-3 months hit, I went and I upped it. I kept on changing my workout. I kept on doing things that I never done before. And I fell in love with cardio again as well. So when I started my first fitness journey, you do not have to do that. Right now, I lost 7 pounds recently from going on the treadmill for 30 minutes and fasting and being in a calorie, and not eating meat, right? And being in a calorie deficit. So I went to the gym for 3 hours every single day. In my first hour, I went and I worked out. I went slow. I did not care. I was on the machines for 10-15 minutes. And then on my second and third hour, it was all cardio. I went in the pool and I worked out for 15 minutes. I swam for 15 minutes. I ran for 10 minutes. I went on the Stairmaster for 30 minutes. And then I sat in the motherfucking, what is it called? Hot tub for a good 15-20 minutes to unravel. And I felt like that worked best for me because it allowed me to do something that I loved, which is swimming, learning how to swim, swimming every single day. And also I was able to catch up on my shows on Stairmaster, doing all of these things. So that's how I was able to work out. And that's how I'm able to work out now, where it's like I'm only doing things I know I will genuinely love and that are also helping me, to the point where it took me a year to be able to lift. Like now I'm using that thing where I'm lifting. If you're there, be there. But take time with yourself, because your body is your temple. And if you're gonna keep rushing yourself to do things you know you're not going to like, you're always going to fail and not succeed. So when it came to my diet, I'm a little bit weary about talking about this, because there's like a spectrum that I'm on right now, where it's like I could be in a calorie deficit. I could do a calorie deficit. I started learning how to cook healthier meals. I know how to do all of those things. But on the other side, I still deal with eating. I still deal with binge eating. So when I feel like I'm gonna binge, I don't stop myself from eating one cookie or eating two cookies or eating that food, because it's like it triggers my binging, where it's like if I keep on telling myself I cannot do it, I end up doing it, and I don't have self-discipline in that way when it comes to my eating habits. But recently I just did the Daniel 21 days fast for spiritual reasons. But I also asked God, this could not be your journey. So if you're not spiritual, please get past this. I asked God to show me self-discipline and show me where I need to be, right? And for 3 weeks, I had to be on a basically no meat, no sugars, no sodas, no nothing, only motherfucking vegetables. And it taught me self-discipline and how to do it. So for 3 weeks, I was not getting myself these energy drinks to energize me. It showed me that I can do it. Do I still do I still have those urges to overeat? Yes, but it all takes time, because this is not just a 2-year process. I've been doing this my entire life. I cannot unlearn something in a day or 2 or 2 years. This is something that I have to do repetitive for myself, because food is an addiction. And I learned that. I'm also addicted to caffeine. I learned that too. But when I was talking to my therapist was like, so you stop one addiction to now do the other addiction, and that's not good. Caffeine is an addiction, food is an addiction. Every single day we're working to fight and get better, and I'm working to fight and get better. So that's how I lost, because I was 222 pounds. I could pop up right here. I'm now 187. I literally lost all of that weight by myself, by going to the gym, eating in a calorie deficit, but then also not stopping myself from eating. Now, for this year, I'm going to implement more intermittent fasting with fasted workouts, and just seeing where I could go from there, because me being able to lose 7 pounds in such a short time made me want to keep going. So with that being said, I love you guys, and that is my journey of losing weight. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.